Alright guys, this is part 4 of ARCYLON assembly video. Nick's gonna take over this section. So the next step is to take your 5/8 bolts that were kind of hand tightened in there with the poly washers, and now get these nice and cranked down. Again, it's really important to pay attention to not over cranking these and bending these tubes. Okay, all right, so he's going to use a 15/16 wrench and a socket set to just get everything nice and tight. And then you're going to repeat the same thing on this side. See, those poly washers are gonna create a protection for rubbing because these are moving parts. Yep, and turn it over. And you want a nice smooth feel to this because the wheel is gonna move this when it rolls up, and it's gonna self-adjust. And you can also rotate this the other way when you're loading and unloading, so it helps with that. So next is the arm. And those nylocks are kind of tight, you know, because they have the nylock in it. That's by design, is so that it can be unthreaded. As you can see, the protrusion of the bolt is about 1/8 of an inch, so that's about probably where you want to be, or you're going to start bending that rectangular aluminum tube. And you can see there's 3 holes. Those are for adjustment. So when you go all the way on the outside, this is set up for a dirt bike. We're setting this up specifically for the cake bike, so it's going to be on the outside holes, both arms on the other side as well. This one is a little older version, so it has more options. We've gotten rid of the last 3 holes because it really doesn't do much. So we're going back to this. This is the last set of our 15/16s. We're going to use that 15/16 wrench to tighten those 5/8 bolts. And they all have, again, the poly washers on each side. And you could also finish this off once it's on the vehicle as well. It makes it a little easier because then you can actually have it in there and tighten, and it just makes life a little easier. So we went ahead and tightened all the 5/8 bolts. Here you go again on that one. So now you have your arm. So basically, it can stay up by itself. This is a cool color, by the way, cement gray with the setup. These are all just kind of loose in there. They could be set up for tire widths. This is going to be for your front tire width spacers. So Nick finished setting up that 15/16 wrench, 5/8 bolts right there. He's got the poly on both sides, as you can see, and he's got it tight, and it's about 1/8 of an inch of protrusion of the bolt. Notice that the bolt heads are all on the inside. This is to protect the tire as you go in and out of this rack, rather than being exposed to the thread of the bolt. It's better to have the nice roundness of the nut, so it gives you a little more protection. Now we're gonna install the straps for the arms here, because these holes is where the straps are gonna actually go, and that's why we use these longer bolts. So next step is to actually get these nice and tightened, because we literally just tighten these by hand. and to have that protrusion, and we're going to show you what we're going to do next. So again, mind your strength here. You can keep cranking. It's more of a feel. Once you feel like getting tight, right there, I could see it even. And then same thing on this side. There's going to be, you're going to do this 4 times, and this is the furthest hole on that skin that interfaces to those arms. So this color scheme may not be what you got, but basically this is what we're doing for cake. So we're just gonna build something that's gonna match theirs. So we're gonna repeat that process across right there. And he's using a 9/16 wrench and a socket, and you can get in there. You just gotta take your time with this because you're playing with aluminum, and aluminum can bend. So the last bolt is gonna be right there. See, we got what, about 1 inch protrusion on that. So next is we're gonna put the washer on. Yep. And then you're gonna take a retractable strap.
You wanna make sure it's popped open
Yep.
for easier access.
Just like that. Slide it over, make sure there's a washer on each side. And then the nylock knot is what's used at this point. And this you should be able to just crank with a wrench. But this you don't want this super tight, because you still want to leave some rotation in the strap so it can easily hook to those arm loops as we showed here. Right there, that's where they're gonna go. So right there where it starts moving, say that's a good feel right there. You got a nice rotation, the thing's not gonna flop, that's pretty good. So you can still move the strap, but it can stand up like that by itself. So looks like about a 1/8 of an inch protrusion of the bolt after that setup. And repeat that on both sides. So that's gonna be your rear wheel strap right there, because that's where we're gonna load from. So the way we set this up, we're loading from the driver's side, because this is where it plugs into the vehicle, and that's where the rear is. That's where the ramp is also gonna connect to. And this is your front, where the cup and the scoop are for the front wheel adjustment. So we're gonna repeat that for the straps here again. Make sure you put the washer on both sides of that retractable strap, and then get the nylock on and get that nice and tight until you have a good rotation that makes them stand up like that. And then from there, once you open it, you got free play. You can go and hook it just like that. And you might see some variances in what you're getting versus what we got here. This is our first video, so if you have questions, just give us a call or send us an email and we can answer that. But we should have a final video of the final product out, but this is pretty close to what it's gonna be. So Nick's got all 4 straps on, so we're gonna have a total of, lastly, we're gonna finish this strap. So we're gonna finish tightening our gear hanger. Basically just, it makes this bar stand in place. Now you're just gonna install one more retractable strap on this side. And these are your foot peg straps. So these go to the foot peg on your moto. Now, if you are using this for moto, so this foot peg, I would say it's like 120, 130 pounds. If you go into the full size moto, you're gonna get another bar that's gonna mount to the stiffener holes right there, which is this one. And it's gonna have the threads at the end. So these are the holes that line up with the stiffener, and these are the bolt through. They're gonna get bolted underneath, and from here you can go to the handlebars, just like a regular moto carrier, because that's like once you get to 250 to 300 pound range, you do want those handlebars tied down. So if you're like gonna run a cake bike on here, you're gonna mount this on that stiffener. So Nick finished mounting those straps. Make sure they're able to rotate. Yeah, they're a little too tight. You notice he put 2 or 3 washers there to fill that.
There's 3 down here, and there's 1 in between each part of the retractable
Okay.
strap on top.
So you do want those straps kind of loose so they can rotate. Yep, exactly. So that's your setup. This pretty much is the ARCYLON setup. The centerpiece and everything else we'll explain later as to mount other products into it. But this will carry bikes up to 300 pounds, especially once with that bar on. So lastly, we want to show you with the bar. I'm gonna grab this bar, and this bar is gonna interface with this stiffener. Can you line that up, please? Like that, and you just bolt through. The bolts will come, and then the retractable straps get threaded to the end. There are already end threads on there, and again, you don't want them super tight. These are going to your handlebars. Okay, hope this helps. This is Nick and Ali from ALTA ARCYLON.
Have a good one, guys.